The S.R. Bommai vs. Union of India case stands as a cornerstone in the history of Indian democracy. This landmark case is not just a legal milestone, but a defining moment that has shaped the contours of federalism in India. This landmark judgment, delivered in 1994, redefined the relationship between the centre and the states. It was a time when the political landscape of India was undergoing significant changes, and the judiciary stepped in to ensure that the balance of power was maintained. It provided crucial safeguards against the arbitrary use of Article 356 of the Indian Constitution. Article 356, often referred to as the President's Rule, had been a contentious provision, frequently invoked to dismiss state governments. This article, often debated, allows the President to impose central rule in a state under certain circumstances. The misuse of this article had led to numerous political crises, and the Bommai case sought to address these issues head-on. The Bommai case, however, wasn't just about legal technicalities. It was a profound statement on the nature of Indian democracy and federalism. The case highlighted the need for a robust mechanism to prevent the misuse of power by the centre. It was about the very soul of Indian federalism. The judgment underscored the importance of maintaining the autonomy of state governments while ensuring that the unity of the nation was not compromised. It was about ensuring that states, as elected bodies, had the autonomy to govern their people. The verdict emphasized that the will of the people, as expressed through their elected representatives, should be respected and upheld. The case brought to the forefront questions of power, democracy, and the delicate balance that holds the Indian Union together. It was a reminder that democracy is not just about elections, but about the continuous process of negotiation and balance between different levels of government. The judgment, a beacon of hope for many, sent a clear message. The Indian democracy thrives on the strength of its states. It reinforced the idea that a strong and vibrant democracy requires strong and autonomous states. The case remains a testament to the power of the judiciary in upholding the spirit of the Constitution and protecting the delicate fabric of India's federal structure. It showcased the judiciary's role as a guardian of the Constitution and a protector of democratic values. This essay delves into the intricacies of the case, exploring its background, legal journey, and the far-reaching impact it continues to have on India's democratic framework. The Bommai case is studied extensively in law schools and remains a critical reference point for discussions on federalism and democracy in India. The case serves as a reminder that the quest for a more just and equitable society requires constant vigilance and a firm commitment to the principles enshrined in the Constitution. It is a call to action for all citizens to remain engaged and ensure that the democratic ideals of justice, liberty, and equality are upheld for future generations. To truly grasp the significance of the Bommai case, one must rewind to the political landscape of Karnataka in the mid-1980s. The state was a hotbed of political instability, witnessing frequent changes in government. Coalitions were formed and broken with alarming regularity, leading to a sense of uncertainty and unease. In 1988, the Janata Party government, led by Ramakrishna Hegde, was dismissed by the governor, despite enjoying a majority in the assembly. This controversial move set off a chain of events that would culminate in the landmark Supreme Court case. The Congress Party, then in power at the centre, was accused of orchestrating the dismissal of the Janata Party government. This move was seen by many as a blatant attempt to topple a democratically elected government and install a regime more favourable to the centre. The stage was set for a legal battle that would have far-reaching consequences for Indian federalism. The political turmoil in Karnataka reached a boiling point in 1991, marking a significant chapter in Indian political history. The S.R. Bommai-led Janata Dal government was dismissed by the then governor, P. Venkatasubbiah, under Article 356 of the Indian Constitution. This article allows the central government to take direct control of a state if there is a failure of constitutional machinery. This controversial decision was based on allegations of the government losing its majority in the assembly. The governor claimed that Bommai no longer had the support of the majority of the legislators, which led to the dismissal. The dismissal, however, sparked outrage among many, who saw it as yet another instance of the center misusing its power to destabilize a state government. Protests erupted across Karnataka, with demonstrators taking to the streets to voice their dissent. Critics argued that the governor had acted hastily and had not given the Bommai government a fair chance to prove its majority on the floor of the House. They believed that a floor test in the assembly was the appropriate way to determine the government's legitimacy. The imposition of president's rule in Karnataka was seen as a dangerous precedent. It raised concerns about the potential misuse of Article 356 to undermine democratically elected state governments. Many feared that it would embolden the center to arbitrarily dismiss state governments that were not aligned with its ideology. This fear was not unfounded, as similar instances had occurred in the past, leading to a growing mistrust between the center and the states. The Bommai case, therefore, became a litmus test for Indian federalism, with the Supreme Court's verdict holding the potential to reshape the balance of power between the center and the states. The case was closely watched by political analysts, legal experts, and the general public, as it had far-reaching implications for the future of Indian democracy. Section 4. The legal battle, from state to Supreme Court. The dismissal of the Bommai government ignited a fierce legal battle. S.R. Bommai challenged the governor's decision in the Karnataka High Court. Bommai argued that the governor had acted unconstitutionally and had undermined the democratic mandate of his government. The Karnataka High Court, however, upheld the governor's decision, further fueling the controversy. Undeterred, Bommai took his case to the Supreme Court, seeking justice and a definitive interpretation of Article 356. The Supreme Court's decision to hear the case was a watershed moment. It signaled the judiciary's willingness to delve into the complex issues surrounding the use of Article 356 and its impact on the delicate balance of power between the center and the states. Section 5 Supreme Court's verdict, redefining Article 356. The Supreme Court's verdict in the S.R. Bommai v. Union of India case, delivered on March 11, 1994, was a landmark judgment that redefined the contours of Indian federalism. This case arose from the dismissal of several state governments by the central government, invoking Article 356, which allows the center to impose president's rule in states under certain conditions. The court, in a historic decision, upheld the validity of Article 356, but imposed strict limitations on its use. The judgment was seen as a crucial step in protecting the democratic fabric of the nation and ensuring that the federal structure was not undermined by the arbitrary use of central power. The court held that Article 356, while being a part of the Constitution, could not be used arbitrarily or whimsically to dismiss state governments. It emphasized that the imposition of president's rule should be based on objective material and not on the whims of the central government. The court emphasized that the power conferred by Article 356 was an extraordinary power and had to be used sparingly, as a last resort, only in situations of constitutional breakdown. It was made clear that this power should not be a tool for political gain or to settle scores with opposition-ruled states. The judgment, hailed as a victory for democracy and federalism, sent a strong message to the center. The arbitrary dismissal of state governments would no longer be tolerated. It reinforced the principle that the states are not mere administrative units of the center, but have their own autonomy and importance in the federal structure. The court's interpretation of Article 356 served as a much-needed check on the center's power and reaffirmed the autonomy of states within the Indian Federation. This landmark ruling has since been a guiding light in maintaining the balance of power between the center and the states, ensuring that the spirit of federalism is upheld in India. Section 6. Proving majority, the floor test imperative. One of the most significant aspects of the Bommai judgment was the emphasis on the floor test as a means to determine the majority of a government. The court held that a government's majority could not be determined solely based on the subjective satisfaction of the governor or the president. The court mandated that whenever there was any doubt about the majority of a government, the proper course of action was to conduct a floor test in the Legislative Assembly. This, the court said, was the most democratic and transparent way to ascertain the will of the people as reflected in the composition of the House. The court's insistence on the floor test as a prerequisite for dismissing a state government under Article 356 was a crucial safeguard against the misuse of this article. It ensured that a government could not be dismissed merely on the basis of unsubstantiated claims or political expediency.